Good morning and welcome to Business Focus on Politics and Business TV. I am Maria Adu Zakari. All marketers have said that the existing price of the commodity does not align with current market realities, despite the federal government's refusal to acknowledge the reinstatement of subsidy. According to a national daily, the chief executive officer of the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, NMPDRA, Farouk Ahmed, revealed that 56 oil marketing companies had applied for licenses. 10 companies demonstrated commitment, while 3 have imported fuel into the nation. About 7 oil marketers had stopped importing petrol. A recent report, however, quoted a licensed oil marketer as saying that oil marketers have not been importing the product for a period of 4 months. He further cited an inability to sell at market-driven prices due to Nigerian National Petroleum Company NNPC Limited insistence on selling at fixed prices of 568 naira or 617 naira depending on the location. Reacting to this report, the group's CEO of NNPC Limited, Mele Kyari, said oil marketers withdrew from the importation of petrol because they could not manage the challenges of price fluctuations in the downstream sector. Today on Business Focus, we'll be looking at matters arising behind fuel importation. Let's start by looking at the equity, commodity, and currency market after this. Welcome back from that break. We are going to start looking at the equity market now. We'll start with the highest trades. Let's look at the highest trades as of close of market yesterday. And topping the list, we have Access Core with highest trades at 74 trades at the volume of 1,762 at the value of 44,540. We also have UBA topping the highest trades with 59 trades at the volume of 231,499 at the value of 6,611. Jaiz Bank is also on the highest trades with 50 trades at the volume of 838,017 at the value of 1,833. Let's take a look now at the close of yesterday, who the top gainers were. The top gainers there is Dangote Sugar at positive 10%. We have Nascon at positive 10% and also UBA at positive 10%. Let's take a look at the bottom losers as of close of market yesterday. And we have Learn Africa at negative 9.09. As you can see, Champion at negative 7.32 and Silicon at negative 2.33. Let's take a look now at commodity market and our commodity top performers as of yesterday. We have iron ore at 5.40%. We have oranges at 3.55%. We have coal at 3.22%. EEX Trump Felix base load year future, we have 3.25, and natural gas, that's Henry Hub, we have 2.90%. Let's take a look at some commodities now from the market as of close of yesterday. We have precious metals topping the list. There is gold at 0.22% positive. We have palladium at negative 0.34%. We also have platinum at negative 0.72%. Let's take a look at another commodity. Let's take a look at energy now. Yes, topping the list there is natural gas, that's Henry Hub, at positive 3.17%. We have ethanol at positive 0.05%. We also have heating oil at positive 0.77%. Let's look at another commodity. We have industrial metals. Topping that list, we have aluminium at negative 0.65%. We have lead at positive 5.07%. And we have iron ore at 5.40%. Another commodity, that's agriculture. That's our last commodity. Let's take a look at commodity. There is cotton. Topping that list, we have positive 0.04% and oats at positive 1.63%. We have lumber at negative 0.46%. The Naira experienced a significant decline on Wednesday, January 3rd, 2024, closing at 1,035 Naira per dollar at the official market. This shows a depreciation of 4.72% compared to the previous closing. This latest depreciation marks the third time the Naira has breached the 1,000 threshold, highlighting a persistent trend of weakness. The first instance occurred on Friday, December 8, 2023, when the currency closed at 1,099 naira. The second was when it closed on Thursday, 28 December at 1,043, and then that of yesterday at 1,035 naira. Just stay with us. We'll be right back for the interview segment.
Worried about complexities and dynamics of business in Nigeria? On Business Focus, we'll bring you insight from the forefront of industry innovation, business news, latest figures from the stock market with in-depth analysis and even market survey. Let's journey through the ever-evolving world of business and economics, where we decode the latest market moves and provide you with the knowledge to navigate the intricate web of business challenges. This is Business Focus.
Welcome back from that break. We are here to discuss the petroleum importation matters arising. I'm here with Wale Joshua, that's an FCA and a financial expert. Good morning, sir, and welcome back to Business Focus.
Good morning.
Happy New Year, same to you again.
Yeah, same
it's still the beginning of the year.
Yeah, yes, definitely. Good
okay, so let's jump right in. What's your reaction to the fact that just the NNPCL is presently importing petrol into the country?
Well, we've exited the regime of subsidy, and we are now into the market-driven sphere. That dictates that anybody who feels like he cannot cover the costs of if its business cannot cover the costs of landing, either the cost of landing or the cost of shipping from the country of origin to the point of use, may feel like he or she should drop that process. So what we have is NNPC importing fuel, importing the components of fuel, diesel, petrol, and the likes, to for the general consumers, and this has been from the country of source to Nigeria. I believe that what they are looking at, or what the marketers are looking at, is the costs between the country of origin and the port of Nigeria, because if not, the marketers are still supplying fuels to motorists and without any much challenge. And they've added a cost gap to cover their operating costs, which includes the transportation, the cost of power, the cost of personnel, and every other thing that surrounds the service delivery cost. So it's only the importation that NNPC is solely responsible for. And if you look at NNPC, I believe that they've developed capacity over the years to weather the storm of fluctuations. When they buy using their strength to either create a forward or a kind of lag in between when they buy and when it's supplied. Throw it to any other marketer, you see ups and downs within the price of this commodity. And truth be told, Nigeria as a nation cannot be thrown into into a price fluctuation regime, where you just wake up, you see a price for fuel. We all know that the importance of fuel in running an economy like ours. If the price of fuel components are allowed to start fluctuating, you see that other prices will follow suit, and it's very easy for price to increase in Nigeria, but very, very difficult for it to reduce. So it's better that NNPC still weathers the storm for the period of time when it's obvious that subsidy should come in.
So you know that already the subsidy has been removed, and the government has insisted that yes, it has been removed. But then for the fact that our prices of the petrol, that's the PMS, home here in Nigeria, is different from the prices at other countries, at other places. So what exactly is the explanation for us paying less Because it should really reflect, but then it's not. What's the explanation?
The explanation is Big Brother role. The Big Brother role has led us into paying less than other countries, because if you look at the value chain, if you look at the border community, you see that it's easier for you to ferry your components, the fuel component, crude components outside the country, make a little gain and come back. So should there be any increase in price in Nigerian products, there will be corresponding increase in price in other African neighboring countries. Because traveling to a kind of distance between Nigeria and Benin Republic, you see that you may not come across any filling station. So invariably what they depend on is the fuel, the Nigerian fuel. So whatever happens to Nigerian fuel will affect theirs with a premium. So I don't expect that African PMS, African diesel will be cheaper than that of Nigeria, except where we have a working system like, let's say, it is in Nigeria. So if we have a working system, countries like South Africa will not depend on Nigerian fuel. Egypt, Algeria, and most North African countries will not depend on Nigerian fuel, except it is that cheap that the cost of transport, covering the cost of transport, will still make it lucrative to transport it to North Africa. I've heard people saying that Nigerian fuel traveled as far as Kenya, as far as other North African countries, when the subsidy was still reigning.
So that's Africa. Now let's talk about the world at large.
The world at large. The world at large.
Because the World Bank mentioned that we are paying less than we are supposed to do. That the government should increase the price to reflect the realities in the market out there.
Yeah, when we're talking about increasing price, it is relative. Because if I can cover my costs, why do you want me to increase price? Yes, it is good for government to make profits, cover its costs, and as well delve into other infrastructural areas, provision of infrastructural facilities. But what if the government has covered the costs? It will be very bad or pathetic for government not to have covered the costs, not to have covered the market-driven costs before telling us that this is the price and sticking to that price. But if government has covered its costs, when I mean government, I mean NNPCL. Now, if NNPCL has covered its costs, it's easier to sell at the current price. But if they've not covered the cost, that means subsidy is still within. So if other African countries or other fuel selling countries sell at a price that is higher than that of Nigeria, it is to cover their costs, or it is their desired profit margin. So if Nigeria can cover its costs, if an NPCL can cover its costs, fine, so be it, let them sell it at 617 naira. But I am of the opinion that there must have been a policy, a deliberate policy, a policy reign that's keeping that price at 617 naira. Because if you look at the price of diesel, which is a lower component to petrol, you say that you need to cook diesel further before you get petrol. Sure. It's obvious that it's not really possible for you to spend additional cost on converting diesel to petrol and you still sell that petrol at a lesser price than diesel. It's really not visible. But that as it may, I believe that government told us that there is no subsidy, and I want to believe that there is no subsidy.
Okay, so now talking about the NNPCL. The NNPCL and oil marketers have been at loggerheads with each other. So why is that, and could that be the reason why the oil importers have not been able to import? Because the chairman of the NNPCL, that's Military, he mentioned that they are just not okay with the realities in the market.
Well, when it comes to government policy, I always look forward to sincerity. Sincerity as per the facts behind the figures, the facts behind the sentences presented. For me, I believe that NNPCL has a whole lot of avenue to cover its costs. It has a whole lot of giveaway. I mean, a whole lot of product that can cover up for whatever price is getting. NNPCL exports crude. NNPCL exports some other things. This crude has many other components which may not be petrol or diesel. So giving up some other components for the production of PMS, to keep the production of PMS at that price, might have been playing out. Like we have, when they finish refining, we have a component that looks like you are washing off the plants. You are washing it off. On its own, it has a value. So what if we feel like, okay, whatever you wash off the refining plant, take it and let me have my petrol at something that will make me cover my costs.
Okay.
So that may look like a giveaway, or it may look like a look away on that byproduct, but it's covering up the costs of importing fuel. I mean, importing the PMS. So there are some things that you have to look at, and apart from that, there are bilateral agreements which NNPC can enter. The marketers cannot enter into bilateral agreements on behalf of the federal government.
Okay.
So if we enter into bilateral agreement that, see, country A, supply us PMS at this fixed price. If you can supply us PMS at this fixed price, we'll supply you crude for a certain number of years, while you supply us this for a certain number of years without changing price. That makes NNPCL at a vantage point, at a point of advantage over the marketers. If marketers will compete with NNPCL, you know that they cannot compete favorably. So that's a grant that may not be as fair as what the marketers will be expecting. So marketers and NNPCL will always be at loggerhead because they don't have the instrumentalities of the government that NNPC has.
Okay, so Mr. Joshua, thank you for that insight. Viewers will go on a short break. We'll be right back. You are on to Business Focus on Politics and Business TV. Do stay tuned. Welcome back from that short break. We are talking about fuel importation into the country, all the matters arising. Mr. Joshua, welcome back.
Yep.
So now that the NNPC has mentioned that it has, the NMDPR have mentioned that they have given, what's that now? They have given the authority to some companies to actually import the fuel. Some have started and some have not, and then a while after, a few months after, there is the situation that none of them are importing. So along the lines, the three that have been importing, what would you say have happened to have made them stop the importation?
There are a lot of factors. We are combining government policies with business practices.
Okay.
If my target as a business owner is to get a returns of 35% on the cost of my production in order to cover up for the interest on my loans, I may drop out if I can't achieve that particular target. So that's on the business side. On the government policy side, government has to live up to its expectation. Government cannot just leave the price of fuel, especially the PMS, into the hands of market fluctuations. If you keep on fluctuating the market, it will definitely disrupt a lot of activities within the economy. So if this is allowed to happen, it won't speak well of the government of the day. That as it may, we need to look at the two together in order to conclude that it's not favorable for them to import. If they are to import, they may be running at loss, either marginal loss or a real loss. So if they are running at a real loss, definitely they would not want to go into that business, which is what we are seeing as of today. Apart from that, we're having a lot of factors which these importers may be looking at.
Sure.
We have the commencement of Dangote refinery. We have the sole importation by NNPCL, and we have the price fluctuation, the price variation on part of the marketers, on the part of the drivers of the value chain. They have been expecting that there will be an increase in price, not because of their love for Nigeria, but because of their love for the profits. So if they are going to take the profits, I believe that they would be desirous of increased price, so which NNPC may not be giving up for now.
Okay, so Joshua, now would you say the oil importers, that's the oil marketers, have been talking about a reduce in the VAT, that's the 7.5%? Sure, that they've been asking the government to actually reduce that, because it was 5% and then it was moved up to 7.5. Would you say that that would be a good idea for the government to actually do that, that's reduce the VAT, or would you say that would not read well for the government?
Oh, well, as per VAT is an element of taxation, of which I believe that this regime is working on getting a policy reform on. So value-added tax ordinarily should be at different rates for different products, like it's obtainable on the CITN. So we can vary the value-added tax on PMS and related products if we believe that we can we should be able to give up a little. But part of the federal government's agreement with the labor is that the value-added tax on PMS should go, and I believe that has gone. For now, that has gone. When it's coming back, I'm looking forward to a reduced value-added tax rate, which ordinarily will affect the nation in general. If it affects the nation in general, it's not the decision of the federal government alone. You will recall that the Rivers State government took the federal government to court sometimes 2 years ago and won the case that value-added tax should be domiciled within the state's purview. He won. They were about appealing that case, which I believe that political settlement came before the political settlement came in. That means value-added tax is not the decision of the federal government alone. It has to do with many other federating components, which is the state and the local government. Sure. So if they can come on board, agree on a particular rate of value-added tax, yes, we can have it, and we have a reduced cost of doing petroleum business.
Okay, so now talking about the NNPCL again, would you say because for the fact that for 4 months now, no other oil importer has imported the product into the country, would you say that the NNPCL is enough for the country and should it be remained like that, or would you say we should still work on the possibility of making it easier for oil importers actually to do their own work too?
Competition is the beauty of the game.
Okay.
So if NNPC is allowed to be the sole importer of fuel, it's not really good for the business. Reason being that should anything happen to NNPCL's value chain, it will affect the nation, not only NNPCL. But if we have competitors, if we have other companies competing with NNPC or complementing the effort of NNPC, it will speak well for the price, the supply chain, and even the quality of the product itself. So we shouldn't be left into the hands of NNPCL. While we look forward to the quality control and maybe perhaps the price regulation within the sector. If we are to regulate the price, that means we should have a board which has the marketers on seats, which has a lot of other agencies, a lot of other organizations, a lot of other companies and major players on seats to determine what price what price the PMS will be sold. Apart from what price the PMS will be sold, NNPCL may expose these marketers to what it has been benefiting from the global business space, so that the marketers can equally benefit from it and then make the product supply a little better.
Okay, so now Joshua, the NMDPR have mentioned that it's unable to import the fuel because of the price, not the price fluctuation, actually the realities are not meeting what they're selling at. So now the Mele Kyari, that's the CEO of the NNPCL, mentioned that it is due to price fluctuations that they are unable to cope with. Would you say the oil importers should now make it on the government, push for the fact that they need to import, to be able to import, that's like fight for their space in the market?
Yeah, marketers should fight for their space in the international market. Apart from fighting for their space, I believe that marketers has the honors of coming together, seeing themselves as global player rather than national player only. So if you are going to play globally, I know that the global economy allows you to do a forward rate, a forward price regime, a forward price stability. If you can agree with one or few countries, one or few organizations that supply us these products over the space of these months, over the space of this year, but you keep the price constant. Not that you enter into the world market at any time, you buy whatever you see and you bring it home to buy, to sell. If you're looking at that, let's just bring it to a micro or mini macro level. If you are to sell for me as an occupant of an estate, you went to the next estate to buy your product and you are bringing it into my own estate to tell me that, see, I bought this product at 20 naira. Whether you like it or yes, buy it at 22 naira to cover the cost of my production. That doesn't work. But if you take a little step further, buying at Lagos, you may buy at a cheaper rate. You may buy at something like 8 naira, and you compete favorably with the next estate, which is selling at 20 naira. And then you either make a gain of 8 naira over the 20 naira if you are going to sell at that 20 naira, or you sell at a lower price, which is still okay for you. So the source of their product is what we should put question marks on. The policy behind the supplies of their products is what we should put question mark on. Are they getting the product from the right source? Are they getting the product from the lenient source? We are not talking about just getting products. We are talking about at an agreed policy price, not just entering the open market source and buying at that rate.
Okay, so Mr. Joshua, we're talking about in the future, we're looking at refining the oils here. We are actually having that happening with the Dangote refinery finally working. So what should we look forward to with that and Port Harcourt refinery coming up and other refineries? What should we look forward to?
Yeah, we should look forward to some few items. We've all agreed that the price of PMS or the price of other components will not come down. because they are getting their crude at international market rates and at other other related costs. So if they are getting their crude at this international rate, it cannot be sold at a reduced price. So we should agree on that first.
Okay.
Apart from that, we know that we need foreign currency to procure most of these components and even procure any other related components of the crude, the refined crude. The coming on board of Dangote refinery and the revamping of Port Harcourt refinery and maybe Kaduna and Warri refinery will make Nigeria, one, a net exporter of petroleum products, two, energy sufficiency, and three, we look at little pressure. It will reduce pressure on the demand for dollar. So we are looking at a reduced dollar value in comparison to the naira. So this will boost our economy in a lot of ways. And when it comes to refinery economics, you see that wherever there is refining activities, there are always other adjoining businesses, like the plastic industry, the fertilizer, which is right on board now, and we have a lot of other products, other byproducts which you can get from the refining of crude.
Okay.
Currently, the refinery cannot produce the PMS, so we should be looking at a short-term importation of PMS before they go into the capacity of producing refining the PMS. The reason for that is that the refinery component that produces diesel and the jet A1 fuel is easier to run than that of the PMS. You have to refine that first before pushing it further to a component that takes it up to cook into petroleum products. That won't take a long time, but we are expecting diesel and jet A1 fuel before we get the PMS. But we'll be better off in terms of energy sufficiency, in terms of earning income in dollars, in terms of reducing the pressure on the need for dollar to import PMS and other components. And then we have the employment. We generate employment.
Sure.
Apart from generating employment, we pay most of our staff in dollars. So if you are paying me in dollars, I know that I'm better off than traveling outside the country or seeking for other jobs. So I will earn my dollarized salary, and I will be better off for it.
Thank you for that wonderful explanation, Mr. Joshua. Instead of japaing, it would be easier you stay at home and do the work. Yeah. Okay, that is it on Business Focus for today. On behalf of the Kermo production crew, I am Maria Adozakari. Do have a good day.